Hi everyone. We all have goals. It could be anything. It could be from I want to climb Machu Picchu, I want to be more patient, I want to be kinder, I want to be a writer, I want to be thinner, fitter, fatter, heavier, lose weight, whatever it is. The point is we all have goals and we all think that if only I had the motivation, I would achieve my goal. But I have a slightly different approach to this. I don't think that relying on motivation alone is what helps me get my job done. For me, what works is, yes, motivation is important, but what works is the discipline to create habits and the Goldilocks Principle. Curious? Let me explain. First off, what is motivation? See, motivation could be external or internal, and we all know that the power of internally motivating forces are much stronger than an externally motivating force. I mean, you can see all the motivational videos you want, but if it doesn't touch you and it doesn't motivate you to make that change, you're not going to make that change, right? Internal motivating factors are the answer to the question of what is it that I want to achieve and why do I want to achieve? So when you ask yourself these two questions, the answer to that is motivation. But here's the thing about motivation. You're not always motivated. So what then? What about your goals then? That's when the third question comes into play. I do believe that apart from these first two questions, which you need to ask yourself in order to identify what motivates you, we also need to ask this question: what are the steps I need to take in order to achieve my goals? Right? Once you break down those steps and make them into action points, then the goal becomes that much more achievable. But in order to do that, you need to have the discipline and create habits. Let me explain with an example. So I wanted to write a book and I was motivated to write the book. But what got the job done was not the motivation, it was the discipline. Because I looked at what is it that I need to do in order to write the book. And the answer was, I have to make sure that I write every day. I need to get to my laptop and put my thoughts down every day. And so I had to have the discipline to do this. I did this for a few weeks and then it became a habit. So then every day I would just go there and write for some time. And here's a good, delightful thing about habits. You don't have to be motivated. It's a habit. But I must admit something. It is not easy. What is easy is sitting in front of the television, watching Netflix, eating chips and burger and all kinds of unhealthy junk food. What is difficult is making sure I work out and making sure that I eat healthy food and making sure that I cook healthy food. Not easy, isn't it? For that, you need discipline. And that brings us very neatly to the Goldilocks Principle. I believe that too little discipline is as bad as too much discipline. Too much discipline can stifle you and kill the joy in your life. If I were going to be kicking myself to work out every day without giving myself a break, I am going to make my life miserable. And then I'm going to just give up. I'm not going to be able to sustain it. Which is why I make sure that I give myself some breaks. I indulge myself. And I make sure that I let go before I rein myself back in. Why is it called the Goldilocks Principle? You remember the fairy tale? Goldilocks. She chose the bed which was not too hard, not too soft, but just right. So it's all a question of balance. To make sure that the level of difficulty is just right. It should not be too easy. It should not be too difficult. So if I were to draw an analogy, if I had a goal and I had a vehicle that would take me to that goal, motivation is the ignition that starts the engine. And the fuel that drives me towards that goal is the discipline to create habits. But very, very important factor that ensures that my vehicle doesn't break down and stop me from achieving my goal is the Goldilocks Principle, which ensures that the pressure is just right. Well, this is what works for me, and I share it in hope that it might help you. Keep your life sunny side up.